Hello, I'm Leno, and today the dish I will be making is going to be injera. Injera is a fermented flatbread originating in Ethiopia and Eritrea. I originally learned about this dish from a family friend who prepares this very often when I go over to her home for dinner. The traditional recipe of this dish contains only 2 ingredients, teff flour and water. The recipe I used came from a family friend and is slightly different from the more traditional preparation of the dish. Ideally, the injera batter should be allowed to ferment for 2 days. My family friend advised me against trying to ferment anything in a college dorm, and so we found a recipe that uses apple cider vinegar and instant yeast to achieve the same outcome. Traditionally, the fermentation process allows the injera to get a subtle sour taste, but I used apple cider vinegar to achieve the same sour taste. The teff in this dish is a type of cereal that originates and is mostly grown in Ethiopia and Eritrea. Teff is known for being incredibly nutritious, and injera is a staple in the traditional Eritrean and Ethiopian diet. It is high in nutrients like iron, calcium, and dietary fiber, and has a good amount of protein as well. Injera is consumed almost daily, and community plays a large role in the importance of injera. Injera is used as both an eating utensil and a plate for large family dinners. A variety of other dishes, often including the national dish of Ethiopia, dorawat, are then layered on top of the injera. The injera is then able to soak up the flavors from the rest of the dish. More injera is placed around the main dish and used to scoop up and eat from the large platter. Similarly to many African cultures, it is essential that only the right hand is used to scoop and eat meals. This dish is an everyday staple in the homes of people in Eritrea and Ethiopia. This has not changed much over the years, but as is the case with any recipe, there are regional variations of the dish. In times of teff scarcity, whether due to financial or locational causes, other grains are used. For those in the lowlands, it is common to add sorghum, while those in the highlands will add barley. Both of these variations are seen as less desirable than injera made with quality, pure teff. In some regions, injera quality is correlated to a woman's ability to manage the household and her character. Injera is also consumed at many major life events, such as births, baptisms, weddings, graduations, and death ceremonies. This dish was relatively easy to make. A simple process of mixing the dry ingredients like the teff flour, the normal flour, yeast, and baking soda into a bowl, and then slowly adding in the wet ingredients like the warm water and apple cider vinegar. After mixing the mixture until you get a nice batter-like consistency that's very smooth, you let the mixture ferment for 1 hour. This is untraditional, but since I used instant yeast, I was able to do this. A very important step of this part is mixing the batter to make sure it has no clumps within. A smooth batter is what you want. The batter will appear to have bubbles and look almost alive, but that is completely okay and characteristic of injera. The longer you let the injera batter ferment, the better it will be. I was only able to let it ferment for about an hour as I did not want to keep using up the Sierra Madre kitchen, but the longer the better. As you can see, this is what the batter will look like after about an hour of fermentation. You then take about a 1/4 cup of the injera batter and add it to your already warmed skillet. You can use oil for this part to make it not stick. I only showed some of my better quality injera within this video, but I did have a lot of mess-ups. Overall, it seems that the best injera was made when I used a very thin layer of batter and poured it around the center of the pan and let it spread out by moving the pan. You then let the injera batter cook on the pan covered with either a pot lid or what I used, tin foil, for about 3 to 5 minutes. You don't have to flip it or anything. The moisture will go up through the top and steam the rest of the bread. After it is done, you will be able to remove it from the pan by just pushing it onto whatever plate you're going to use. It will have a very thin and spongy texture that is easily rolled up. The final and ideal injera is a mild and slightly sour pancake-like bread with a spongy texture. It should be able to be rolled up like I do in the video. It is then used to dip and scoop up in a heartier dish like a stew or sauce.